We are 2 days away from training camp, and the national media is getting antsy, to say the least. We have had every single list imaginable come out. We have had every top 10, every top 50, every top 100. We have had top player rankings, top unit rankings, top team rankings, more metrics than seem necessary. Here we thought we'd heard it all, and then Colin Cowherd gets his microphone in front of his face and says the most bizarre thing. In this video, we're talking about two hugely opposing views coming from some of the biggest players in NFL sports media. One viewpoint that you'll hate, and one that I promise you will absolutely love. If you're new here, my name is Nate, and we are talking the San Francisco 49ers on this channel every single day. That's why it's called Sports Talk San Francisco. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the good conversation, all the chat, all the talk. Make sure you also join in the comment section. That's where a lot of the fun conversation happens. Not every video, but we do our best, and you know, guys out there like Kurt are making sure he's commenting on every single video, so you always have somebody to reply to, not even just me. The news is this: Colin Cowherd picked the Rams ahead of the 49ers to win the NFC West. I'm going to break down what he said and why I think he's wrong at every single level, in my opinion. But later in the video, I'm also going to tell you what Pat McAfee had to say in stark disagreement. It'll be a fun video. It'll be a fun discussion to have. I'm looking forward to it. Question of the day, though: which position battle is most important going into training camp in 2 days? What position battle is most important? Is it on the offensive line? Is it essentially wherever Purdy ends up lining up? Is it left guard, right guard? Is that the most important position battle? Is it the McKivitz pressure that's on him to improve this season? So is it just the right tackle position? Is it, could be looking at that lockdown, solid go-to nickel position? Is it the backup position? It could be backup position at quarterback. Could be backup position at cornerback. Could be backup position, RB2, RB3. Those are some interesting ones. What position battle is most important to you? Maybe not the one that you're looking for. We've already kind of answered that question, but most important for the 49ers to nail down. I look forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments there and joining you in that conversation. Let me preface this take with the fact that I do like Colin Cowherd. I do like his show. I do like a lot of his perspectives. I think he's usually pretty level-headed. I like his picks. Every once in a while, he gets that bug that the national media outlets have, that they have to say something controversial. And I don't know if he genuinely believes it or if he just has to say the controversial thing because it gets better views or what. Whatever the case is, I think this pick from Colin Cowherd is pretty bizarre, especially because of his reasoning, okay? I think there's an argument you could make, a scenario in which what Cowherd has to say could somehow work, where the Rams finish in the NFC West atop. That's not what he's done here. His argument doesn't make sense to me. So let's break it down. Okay, I'm going to pick off his reasonings piece by piece. So we're going to start with the first thing that he called out, which is that we are too old. So I'll ask the question, are we too old? Is this San Francisco 49ers roster too old? Okay. Now, we are most certainly chock full of veterans. I would say we are old-ish. I would not say we are old. And I don't think I would say we are too old. But I went ahead against my own preconceived ideas, and I went and I looked through every single player's age on our roster, pulled out the most important old ones. There are a lot of guys who are like backup dudes who might not even see the field that are in the older area. But in terms of players that are actually starting on the field, Trent Williams, he's up there. Obviously, he's the first guy when you say old that is ringing through your brain, because we all know we have to find a Trent Williams replacement one of these days. Trent Williams is 36. This is going to be his age 36 season. Still producing at a very high level. Still expected to be the number one offensive tackle in the league this season until proven otherwise. So yeah, he's old. I'll take that one. I'm not even going to argue with that one. We'll keep it as is, okay? Injuries could be a concern there. We'll get to that in a minute. Christian McCaffrey is old for a running back. So I'm going to agree in part that 28 is kind of old. But in terms of physical abilities, 28 is kind of prime For a running back, maybe it's the top end of prime. Like this, maybe that was his last amazing season in terms of statistics and stuff like that. I don't know. Not many dudes produce heavily into the 30s as running backs. That's fair. Granted, if Kyle Shanahan's plan to keep him healthy is actually going to look any different, we'll see about that. That's an interesting one we'll have to talk about sometime. Does Kyle Shanahan actually employ any leverage over Christian McCaffrey? Because he kind of made it sound like he has a plan to get McCaffrey less snaps, but then McCaffrey wills himself onto the field and Kyle just, turns the other way, looks the other way on that one. Whatever the case is, I'll take that Christian McCaffrey for a running back is old, but there have been big, major exceptions to that rule. Like Adrian Peterson had some pretty big seasons at 28. So, okay, I'm getting outside of my depth now and I start talking about other old running backs. So Logan Thomas, 33. Not going to really count that. Doesn't really count. Just picked him up. He's kind of just, he's depth. I think he's going to be a starting tight end in 2 tight end sets because you have 2 pass-catching tight ends. That's a nice advantage. But I'm not going to really freak out about Logan Thomas's age. George Kittle is 30. Still plenty of room left to grow for him. Plenty of room left for him to be amazing as he has been. Debo's 28, still producing, but I understand the argument there. Fred Warner is 27, still massively producing. I think he still has a couple more years for sure. Leonard Floyd is 31, but he's coming off of 4 amazing seasons. Okay. Amazing within reason. Okay. Really, really good seasons. All right. That's 4 in a row. He's going to have more help this season than ever. So I feel positive about him. Javon Hargrave is also 31. I think he's set up for a better season than last year, to be honest. I think that he'll produce more like he did in Philadelphia a couple seasons ago. Malik Collins is 29. Plenty of room left in the tank for an interior defensive tackle. Wisnowski's 32. That's really the only guys you could say are old, okay? I would love, please, let me know in the comments if even those guys you think are wrong. And if I'm missing somebody, let me know in the comments on that too. But, for Wisnowski, he's a kicker. Kickers can tend to go quite a bit longer. So, again, not worried about him at his age. So, are we old-ish? Yeah, I hear some of that. Okay, his second point in his argument is that we are old and expensive. And I don't like the expensive argument for this season. It doesn't make sense to me because, this has bearing on future rosters that we're an expensive team, but it doesn't have any bearing on this roster this season. We have the best roster in football right now, in my opinion. And a lot of people think that. I'm not just like, bright sider looking at it through red and gold glasses, whatever. I don't think that's a good argument for why we're not going to win the NFC West. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so we're going to move on from the expensive argument. That one falls flat for me. Injuries. Okay, genuine risk for a couple of our dudes to have injuries. This is a tough sport. There are always opportunities for injuries, so that's a reality we can accept. I like our depth at most positions already, so I'm not really worried about it. But you could say guys like McCaffrey, coming off of a massive, massive season, he carried the ball a lot. He caught the ball a lot. He got hit a lot. He blocked a lot. So he's putting his body through a lot. I would understand Christian McCaffrey as an injury risk for sure. But then you look at what we did, picking up multiple running backs, already have decent, if healthy, running backs. So then add to that Grendo, Cody Schrader, some dudes who can run the ball, who can carry the rock. This is going to be fun to watch that position battle, by the way. If you're looking for position battles, I think the RB2, RB3 position battles are going to be really, really interesting. Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell. Okay, Rams. This is another point that he made. Rams have an underrated defensive line. Okay, that's fine. I'll accept that their defensive line they've been drafting over the last couple of years is going to be better than, maybe better than people are expecting. Okay, cool. That's fine. They still lost Aaron Donald. They still are, I think, at best comparable to our defensive line. I don't really see how that means that they're going to win the division. I understand you play a lot of other teams that are not just in your division, but I don't really see that connection to why Rams are going to be on top and the 49ers are not. I put up ours against theirs, and offensively, I think, when we're talking about the actual physical matchup, offensively, our offense is too stout for a defensive line to just completely take down. Okay, side note, by the way, before I move off of Colin Cowherd in just a second here, he doesn't think that we have the best roster in the NFC. Not even the NFC. He thinks Philadelphia has the best roster in the NFL. I take issue with that on a couple of points, but the main one being, which Jalen Hurts are you considering when you say best roster in the NFL? Because I don't think we've seen a consistent Jalen Hurts. We have not seen the year that they went to the Super Bowl, that was a special season for Jalen. We have not seen that. And we haven't seen it every season. So I'm going to, again, I don't know. I'm not going to go crazy on best roster in the NFL. I just don't think that that's true. But we'll let the games play out and see what happens. I want to also preface this Pat McAfee comment to saying I also like Pat McAfee. I'm a fan of a lot of the stuff he does. I love the way he interviewed Brock Purdy. I feel like he has so much respect for Brock Purdy and many individual players on this football team. Big fan of Pat McAfee. He's energetic, super fun guy. He says we're going to be in the Super Bowl this year. So stark contrast from Colin Cowherd. He thinks that we're the top team. And he actually picked the Kansas City Chiefs to go again. But whatever the case is, here's his reasoning for why the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Fred Warner, that's the first part of his reason. He basically just said, I just picture Fred Warner flying around. Love that picture, of course. Let's go. Agree. Who's next to him this season until Greenlaw is healthy? That'll be an interesting question. I feel very strongly, though, that Devondre Campbell's going to have an up year, a positive year. And let's not forget Fred Warner's new BFF from OTAs, D. Winters. So there's a lot to look forward to there in terms of Fred Warner support until support. That's the wrong word. He doesn't need support. Somebody alongside Fred Warner until we get Dre Greenlaw back. Another reason for the 49ers making it to the Super Bowl this season is Nick Bosa being back to his best. Love that take because I've said it many times on this channel too. I also believe that Nick Bosa is going to be back to his best this season for a lot of reasons. But number one, that holdout had a massive impact on his beginning of the season, and I think that's a huge reason why he wasn't at his best. And he'll be full training camp, full OTAs. He was around for everything, and that's a good sign. Hufanga at safety, of course, was another reason that he pointed out, and almost kind of paints this like, in soccer, there's a phrase of like having a good spine, right? Having a good spine in your team. It doesn't exactly translate to football because cornerbacks are really important. You can't just like I have good safety, so I don't need good cornerbacks. You still have to have good cornerbacks in football, but he kind of paints that sort of picture of the type of individuals on this defensive side of the ball. So good. And let's hope that Hufanga stays healthy. He's young, so he should be able to recover. Let's hope he gets healthy, stays healthy, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. I think this is a really interesting one, and I forgot to put Cowherd and Pat McAfee on the screen there. There you go. There's Pat. Yeah, Pat. Picking us to go to the Super Bowl. That's exciting. This is an exciting season, guys. This is going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to going through it with you guys. Watching 49ers games in Colorado alone all the time, not as much fun, but being able to watch them with you guys is going to be super, super fun. Looking forward to the whole process, making those videos. 2 days until training camp. It's going to be a lot to look forward to. What a time to be alive.